Hi guys, Drew here, and it has been a while since I've uploaded a video. Just wanted to keep you guys updated on what's been going on for this off season for the Newfoundland Growlers. And how much signings have they made? We'll see what happens here on out till the regular season. But yeah. So it's been a good off season so far for both Marlies and maybe the Growlers soon. Um. They haven't made the Growls haven't made any ECHL signings yet. Um, there's rumored that Todd Skirving's going to re-sign back with the Newfoundland Growlers, but I've always thought that there's been a possibility that because Skirving signed the PTO and one game for the Toronto Marlies last year, that he could possibly get an AHL deal done with the Toronto Marlies. It may be two-way. It may just be simply an AHL contract with the Marlies. But I figured that he could get a deal done with the Marlies. But we'll still see him here next season, just to make sure that he can play for the Marlies whenever the Marlies want him to. Obviously, he only had one game with the Marlies last year, and that was on a PTO deal, and then he got sent back down to Newfoundland. So he could be coming back next year, and all the fans, I mean all the fans, are voting for Scurvy to be the next captain of the Newfoundland Growlers, and I don't blame him. Skirving definitely is the longest tenured Growler so far. Hopefully he can re-sign with the Growlers, and or the Marlies as well. We'll see what happens with Skirvy in the next few weeks or the next few months. Who knows how long this will be. But the Marlies have made a couple few signings. They've signed Keenan Suthers, Zach Solo, Matteo Pietranero, Tommy Miller, Mikko Kokkonen as well will be playing next year. Johnny Tyconic, Luke Cavlin. All those names are very noticeable for the Newfoundland Growlers. After they played a bit of time last year for the Newfoundland Growlers, now the Growlers have lost their players. Brandon Cruz signed with Toledo Walleye a few days ago. Orin Centazzo, there's rumors that he's going to be signing with the Walleye as well. Really hoping that doesn't happen, but you never know what could happen. Chris Martinet's gone. There's many players that have left this offseason. I believe Adam Hallwell's gone to play in Scotland, which is pretty weird, considering he's going to Scotland, but, you know. But for the Growlers, it seems like they've either been losing players or like kind of gaining players going to the Marlies. Now, there's a few new names that we may see next season that have signed with the Toronto Marlies. That is like Brock Caulfield, Josiah Slavin, Ryan Verberg, Braden Kressler, Jackson Berezowski, Neil Shea, Tate Singleton. There's many more. Tyler Weiss as well. We haven't heard any of those names before, but they may be on our team next year. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. And will they be on our team next year? We'll have to find out. And then Matt Hellickson also re-signed with the Marlies, so he may be on our team next year. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens though. And then for the Moose side, Simon Kubicek also re-signed with them, so he'll probably be on the Growls next year, unless he plays really good in training camp for the Manitoba Moose. But we could see QB back here again this season. And then also Nolan Dillingham is one player that you're gonna have to look out for. Signed an AHL deal with the Toronto Marlies. If you guys haven't seen his big hit on Roni Hirvoinen at Leafs prospect development camp, I highly recommend go see that. That name is Nolan Dillingham. He could be on our Growler squad next year, laying down the big body, maybe replacing Melindy, and then having him and Kubicek on the same line would be absolutely wild. But that being said, there are a few still noticeable names in free agency. I made a post in Growls Nation Newfoundland on some players that are still left out on the free agent market. That's like players like Ryan Chizowski, Michael Joyo. I feel like Joyo definitely needs to come back. Joyo looks like he still has some gas left in the tank for this next season. I feel like he could have an explosive season next year if he plays for the Growlers. And then Chizowski, I feel like I'd like to see Chizowski back. Chizowski is definitely one of my favorite players, like in the Leafs organization at least. He's just so exciting to go see play. Pavel Gogolev has signed in the KHL. He signed with HC Sabrive, I believe. And he won't be back next year, which is kind of upsetting. But I mean, most people kind of expected it to happen. And yeah, so there's a few notable names that are still left on the free agent market. Nathan Knoll. There's a question mark on Nathan Knoll's career. What's going to happen next for him? As he got cut off the team last year. He made an Instagram post a couple of weeks ago. One of the games in the regular season, the Newfoundland Growlers were playing the Worcester Railers. One of the fans in the stands was able to get a picture of Nathan Knoll yelling bench to the other bench to Josh Victor of the Worcester Railers, who's a black man. On the Worcester squad. You don't see much black players in the ECHL, but Victor was one of them. He didn't get much time for Worcester this year, but apparently Nathan Noel was doing some racial slurs on him, and that caused him to be released from the team. And who knows? I don't know if he's going to be coming back, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing in St. John Senior Hockey League next year. Maybe even the year after that. But I basically think like he's not an AHL player. I don't think at this point of his career. And I really don't see him signing anywhere in the ECHL besides the Growlers. Um, so I was saying like maybe like the German second league or high Slovak league, but I don't even know if Nathan Noel's gonna want to do that. I think he wants to play North America, but I'm not too sure what could happen. Now, there's also players like Adam Samuelson, Matt Shreddle that are still available. Dylan Peters, Adam Daw. They still haven't re-signed anywhere, and I don't think they're going to be back just because they got released before the playoffs, and I don't see the Growlers just re-signing them. I wouldn't mind to see Adam Daw back. He kind of was enjoyable to watch and play. He could have a breakout year if he's re-signed with the Growlers, but I'm not sure what could happen with this Growlers squad. Jordan McKay also may be back next year, and we're going to have to wait and see. Dennis Hildeby also is another option to be a goalie next year. I feel like it's either Kavlin or Hildeby that we're going to see next year, and I would take both goalies, but you can really only choose one. And I'm sure most Growlers fans are going to want Luke Kavlin back just because he played with them last year and he was really good goalie in the crease for the Growlers and played pretty good in the playoffs as well. But Dennis Hildeby, you don't see often. He played in Sweden, so we haven't seen him often. But if he can get a couple games with the Growlers, start off like the opening weekend, and he's in here, he can definitely get some raised eyebrows. Because Hildeby is definitely one of those types of goalies that he looks pretty solid. And Dryden McKay, I expect to be back next year. I don't see him with the Marlies. Kind of struggled last year in his first year pro. But hopefully next year he can have a strong season with the Growlers if he's here. But we're just gonna have to wait and see though what happens with Dryden McKay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If there's any news, Growler signings, I may make a video about that. If they make like say 7 signings or like 5 signings or something like that in the same day, I may do that. There's been a few ECHL signings across the league, of course, because it's the off season. The Iowa Heartlanders seem to be pretty active in this year's off season. Trois Rivières as well seem to be pretty active. I may think Trois Rivières may be back into the playoffs next year with the current roster they have. The Rocket of Laval signed Alex Olivier Voyer. He played last year for the Maine Mariners, had a pretty strong season over there. They also signed Zachary Emond. He's a goalie. Maybe playing for the Lions next year, but he could play some games for Laval as well. Nolan Yaramenko as well also signed with the Lions. He actually played a couple games in the CFL or NFL. I'm not too sure. He's a football player and an ECHL player. I was going to not say NHL player, but he is an ECHL player. And then there's like Norfolk. They signed a couple guys. I'm still curious on what Carolina's situation is going to be because the Chicago Bulls are going to be an independent AHL team next year, and Carolina still hasn't found a team what to be their AHL affiliate. I don't really know who it could be. Like, I was thinking if this just doesn't work out, Norfolk's going to get a bunch of AHL players to play in the ECHL. But I don't know. I don't really know what could happen. Will Norfolk go back to the AHL? They were in the AHL before, and now they may be going back. I'm not sure, but we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Will the Growlers be their AHL affiliate? I doubt it, but you never know what could happen. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. I hope you guys are enjoying this off season, and I hope you guys are gonna be enjoying for season 3 of GFR next year. It's going to be a great season, year 5 of the Growlers' history, and hopefully they don't get eliminated this time by the Florida Everblades. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, so that's going to be for you guys. I'll talk to you all again soon.